Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello, world. Hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do, so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. This is episode 12.
Some cry, some smile, some fight every day. We rise to the top, 'cause we know what it takes. Through it all we survive, yet still hold the faith. Unchangeable, Lord, unchangeable. Hey, no matter how the dollar might stack up, me still not change. Me I go stay rough. Inna the giddy and you have to buckle up your lace. Be smart, don't be a gruff, no. Life, it's a journey, it's a long race. Mama says, son, be wise and don't bring disgrace. So me take up the broom and start sweep the place. 'Cause all these ways, they got to get erased. I love to me people that me embrace. The truth are the truth and that can't erase. So hell to all of those who want hate. Just send me to finish this race. So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight, we got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary. Just said, don't you worry, I'll be in a hurry, Lord. We got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary. So we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray. So me tell the youth hold on, tell mama be strong. Taki, have faith in God, me no know about man. Long time them a try bring me down, and not just now, from a very young. Chat me every day with them.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk to two gentlemen who, with their cameras, bring voices to inanimate objects and also will allow us to come closer to some of our favorite artists, our legends, our heroes than a handshake could possibly do. We're talking to Mr. David I. Muir and Mr. Roy Sweetland. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, man, blessings, man. You don't know, I always make Roy speak first. Because them say age before beauty. So I'm going to always pause and let Roy answer first.
Right, you can't take that.
Yes, David I.
Hey, listen, I'm a brother, you know, and G, let me tell you right now, from Jump Street, I have the amount of respect for Roy Sweetland that you cannot even measure. It's so great. I don't think Roy know, but I say it already and I say it 1,000 times. Without people like Roy, there's no David I. Because I see what him do, and I say I can do it too. We need people who can show us the way, and I genuinely feel there's a whole heap of love for the spirit of somebody like Roy, because it's not, enough people achieve something and then them hide it, or them don't want to show you the way, or them.
Yes.
This is a man that is open and show him heart and him world, and somebody that just embrace people, and I love Roy for that. I love Roy for what he's done in the industry, and for those who don't know, I'm sure you're going to tell them, but this is a man that's been capturing the spirit of and the culture of reggae and Jamaica for so long that I'm thrilled to be even in the same interview with him. So I leave you with that as my start.
Love it.
Well, give thanks to that, David. The feeling is mutual, They say when you do the things you love, you'll find a way to do it well.
Wow.
It's a blessing from above, and those who see can always tell,
Love it.
I find the same symbiotic relation with David too. I love his work. I follow what he does. And it's part of telling the story visually of what we see, in our culture.
Right.
Our images, they appear, on album covers, in magazines, in books. But I was inspired earlier on, to do this because of we always seen people from outside, come and do it for us, And I was always saying, yes, who are the people who are, living, here, doing this type of thing,
This is a funny interview, Gio answers not yet, we don't say, we jump down.
You know what? No, go on still, because guess what the crazy thing? Everything you say right now is what me have in front of me. So you just save me some time.
I love, all right.
You know what I mean?
I gotta say this then, because for real, it's what the writers say. It's about that same thing, We are people that love us. And it's so hard sometimes to see how other people come in and appreciate us more than some of the rest of us. So to make that more clear, I'm a Jamaican man that is super proud of who we are, the things we've accomplished. No country is without fault. So Jamaica has some flaws, but I'm so proud of the things that we have originated. And honestly, I am just honored to be someone who can be a participant in that. Whether it is in the days long ago when I started in this and today, now that I've continued all this journey along, to just know that I can be a partner, a contributor to that rich, strong culture we have in our music and our everything that we do. It's just a great flavor.
I love it. David, you and I met on numerous occasions before. And I'm familiar with your critically acclaimed book, Pieces of Jamaica. Roy, I'm meeting for the first time, but I've definitely seen your work and I've heard of the legend that is Roy Sweetland. We're going to talk today about an upcoming event, Let There Be Reggae, which is dubbed a unique event showcasing a curated snapshot of reggae music and dancehall culture, actually. And this goes from, correct me if I'm wrong, Thursday, December 7th to Saturday, December 9th. Am I correct?
You got it, Virgin. Yeah, man.
You got it.
Nice. And I know there's some other integral persons involved and participating in the event, right?
Definitely.
Yes.
I'll take it here. I even know I'm the good-looking one. So here's the thing. I don't think that everybody who is involved wants to be mentioned, but I will say this. There are a new number of artists who are involved. There's a painter, or let me not even go down to genre. There's another artist who is a Jamaican artist that's living currently in Australia. Her name is Robin Clare. She will be making a trek over from way out in Australia to come and join us here in Miami. And so I love that is taking place.
Nice.
In addition, because it's a showcase that's talking about and featuring reggae and dancehall culture, we have one of those pioneers in that dancehall clash sound system business, which is, Mr. Chin from Irish and Chin, who has those legendary sound clash from back in the days. And he'll be there, he'll be showcasing dubs and different artifacts of the culture within dancehall. In addition to that, there is the work of, and I should say the work, because she's really the collector. Maxine from Jamaica is bringing all those dancehall signs, the ones that were nailed up on the street lamps and all over. So bringing the signs. And so to understand what we're doing is that we're trying to show as much as we can. Ryan and I are bringing the imagery of the dancehall and of the showcase and of the, not just the stars, but especially with Roy's work, he's able to show us everybody, the people who went to the dance, the vendors, just all the different parts. So we're going to see such a great cross-section of all of reggae and dancehall culture over the years.
Right.
And I think anybody else who wants to say anything can mention.
Yeah, well, like what David has said, we're trying to create a vehicle that it can be an annual event. It's not just for this year. So hopefully, if we can put it on next year, it'll be a different set of photographers, different set of artists, different set of curators, people who have collected artifacts and so on. And we want it to be a proud vehicle for reggae and the part of our culture that a lot of pioneers before us have spent numerous hours and love and still haven't gotten the recognition. So we're trying to, apart from mixing the newer, younger dancehall vibe it also have the pioneers, the older people who have set the foundation for the whole thing, you know.
Gotcha. I love it. The other thing is this: there's a really nice website up. So truth be told, if anybody wanted to remain anonymous, it done out the window already, because all the names are up there. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
let there be reggae.com. And as Roy just mentioned, I think it's important. We are just the what you're gonna say, the people who have initiated this movement. I genuinely would say right here online, in person, we recommend that anybody who feels they have a greater voice to lend to this movement, to join us. We would love for this to continue year after year. And honestly, I don't think that David and Roy are the ones that are going to be able to facilitate that to the length and to the depth that this great reggae music deserves. So I highly, highly, highly encourage anybody who wants to be a partner, who wants to see this movement continue and grow bigger, that come out to the show. Come on, even if you don't make it to Let There Be Reggae this year, contact David, contact Roy, contact the people who are doing it this year so we can see how we can move it forward. Because genuinely, this needs to continue. And David and Roy don't want to be the face of it forever.
Yeah, and this is no flash in the pan, you know. I mean, this idea, you know, when David came to me earlier in this year, January, February, and with Alan John from the August company, it really spiked my interest, and we have been doing work from that early part of the year to what it is now, you know, in selecting images, you know, gaining the concept, you know, who are the first participants and so on. So it's basically the visuals and some of the artifacts. And reggae is a thing that is seen through a lot of different eyes. It's such a diverse music because it's the music of the people. Right. So there's no one person that can say, "Yo, I have this story. I have the only story." Everybody have a piece, and it's all you put those pieces together to really tell somebody else who don't know nothing about, you know, our culture of reggae music and dancehall and the dancehall scene, to give them a glimpse of what this is all about, you know.
I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a super exciting event, and pretty much all the fans of the Art Basel, as well as just fans of art in general, will definitely be in for a really, really, really fantastic event. Before
you put on the next music, you know, I have to mention something.
Yeah.
You bring up the thing Art Basel, you know, and I'm going to tell you this straight up. Me's not even not against anything. I'm for everything. But Art Basel is a brand, just like how you just said that, you know, Singing Melody is a brand, or Chronix is a brand, or Penthouse. And we genuinely don't have no part of Art Basel, you know. So we end up saying Art Basel like it's something we are a part of.
But you're not.
Genuinely, we're a part of Miami Art Week.
Okay.
And no, real thing. So make everybody know, this can be held at any time, anywhere in the world. Let There Be Reggae is a complete separate thing from Art Basel.
I got
We
you.
are just simply displaying reggae in Let There Be Reggae as a show at this time because we know we can get some attention.
I got you.
We're willing to put this anytime, at any place, anywhere in the world, and it's not an Art Basel thing.
I got you. And funny, you know, some I love it that way there, because that being said, like you said, you can move off a passion, you can move off of vibes, and you're not restricted, you're not relegated to whenever they are ready to make a move or do something. And based on what you're saying too, who knows? One day somebody's going to be sitting down at that event trying to link it to your event.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? For propulsion.
Yes, and this is what we want to spark the interest, start something, let's say, start a fire, you know, tell our story. It's from our eyes, it's from, you know, what we do, so what we love to do. It's passion driven, it's image driven, and when Jamaicans set their mind to do something, you just cannot stop them, you know. So we just love this idea, and we want it to be a part of the idea of our people, you know, all of our people, you know.
I got you. Love it. All right, we'll be right back with some more. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
The world gets so loud sometimes, and the sky looks so bleak. I feel so low when I can't remember my dreams. You don't hear what I say. in a day, so I can't tell you how I feel. A little hard to explain when I don't get no sleep. To you it might sound like I'm crazy, but I swear that it's real. Don't say carry on, it's not that bad. Keep on, don't say you don't know what hard life is like, yeah. I wish it was easy to breathe. Every day's the same, I am over the way that these days just repeat. Wish there was somewhere I could be. Don't tell me to smile if you're not going to stay here with me. Just wish it was easy to breathe, but it's not. I know I'm starting to.
Yes. And that one is Easy to Breathe by Savannah from her brand new EP called Savannah. Wicked artist. One of my favorites out there doing what they do right about now. Let's talk a little bit about you gentlemen. You're both artists. You both are from Jamaica. You both use a camera to capture and tell your stories. But your art is also very different. The idiosyncrasies are super evident in your work. So let's talk about that. And David, I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about your style, your approach, and what inspires you.
Well, it's a whole heap of things that, I'm glad for the question. Thank you, sir. Inspires me, many different things inspire me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go right back to Pieces of Jamaica. What happened with me is that because I grew up in Jamaica, lived there, loved Jamaica, I literally cried for days knowing I was going to move away and live in a foreign land. So my love for Jamaica is very deep.
Right.
But I left. And so part of why I did the book Pieces of Jamaica was not about sharing my vision with anybody else. It was originally me taking pictures to quell my missing Jamaica, so that I had something to show for what I had left behind. So a big motivation behind a lot of my art in photography is self-motivated because I want to capture images from my own memories.
Right.
So extending that beyond the images that became a part of that book and just to all of what I do. Yes, there are some things which are message driven. I take images to express my opinion of certain things. And so I do imagery based on my message. But a lot of it is inspired by what I am passionate and I love. So for example, part of why I do so much in the music business is because I love music.
Right.
I grew up, I was a DJ for over 20 years. I did so much different things in music in terms of artist management, music production, etc., production of so many different shows, that this is just a part of who I am and what I genuinely love. So a lot of what I express through my photography is just to show others my passion for the things that are important to me.
So you're feeding your own hunger. It just so happens that there's enough food to share.
Absolutely. And the truth is, there is some things that start with me saying I want to tell an audience a story, but a lot of it is for my own purpose as well, because I want to share for myself the things that are meaningful to me.
I think that's excellent because of that approach, you're doing the best and doing it for your own soul.
Absolutely.
And then you can share that versus the opposite where you're doing it for a commercial perspective and you happen to gain some form of benefit from it.
Yeah. I'm going to let Dry speak to his, but I'll say this. No part of my photography in art, so I call myself a photo artist, not a photographer. So as somebody that labels themselves a photo artist, no part of my photo art is ever done based on financial gain. Not one single part of it. It turns around and it helps me in some ways to brand myself and also to bring revenue based on some parts of it.
Right.
But the genuine engine behind it is my passion and love for the things that are important to me.
Love it. Roy, the same for you. Your style, your approach, your inspirations.
Yeah, well, I started out, in industry. I did about 29 years with a telephone company. And when I was about to leave, I said, you know what? I want to come out of this humdrum world of this 9 to 5. And I used some of the money to invest in professional equipment. So in 2003, I went, and bought some digital at the top of the line at that time, just on the capture stuff, because I used to do stuff in the 70s, 80s with film and so on. So I basically wanted to bring that level of equipment into it, and I wanted to make my work fun. I wanted to replace my revenue stream from I did in telecoms into photography. I actually grew up in the dance hall. My mother actually owned this space called the Shalimar Club, on the Olympic Way in the early 50s. It was the first dance space that was there on Olympic Way that she, as a little teenage girl from the country, came to town and established the bamboo lawn. It was just a dirt space with bamboo around it. And that was early 50s, Wow. That was when Olympic Way was just a dirt track, and coming up to her shop and stop there, and a little trek go up to places like Tower Hill and Waterhouse, Yeah. So she was like the first person to get like running water, light, and telephone line, So,
wow.
so she had to
pioneer
be
the thing.
A person who was gonna take down names to go to like water commission and say, no, I need to do this,
Right.
for everybody, So my mother, she inspired me a lot. I remember the first dance that we had there at our club. There was no power in the air at that time, so we had to get light from Spanish Town Road and run wire, Wow. And the guy named Mr. Geno, for generosity, he gave her a light the night for 10 shillings, and we run wire all the way from Spanish Town Road to the club at Olympic Way, and turn on the set at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And people, it was such a novel thing that they said play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because it was like the people didn't want them to leave, So.
Right. You know, when it's up again, and we could do it all. We going all out.
Yeah. So
wow.
That was my early inspiration in capturing some of those things, and feel comfortable with the dance hall, because I see where it was sent us to school. It was the main earning power,
right.
for our family, our community.
Right. That's the thing about dancehall some people don't realize, and the music industry in general is, a lot of the time people think the artist, you go there, you look, you see the person on stage, yeah man, that person's, doing a thing, taking care of it, but you don't see all the different branches, and you know what I mean? From the jerk chicken man to the soup man to the con man to the herb man to everybody.
It's a whole slew of services and people that depend on it. When on the night when a dance is kept, it's not just the promoter is making a living out of it. There's a whole people. The lady who make your dress to send you to the dance at night. The other lady who do the hair. Your nails. So there's a whole list of services. And when an artist go and perform like internationally, with what he brings back, not only for the economy but his family and the people who tour with him.
Yes.
That story is told about what reggae has done for Jamaicans and all, to lift them out of poverty and to keep them sustained. We will understand the gravity of what this music has done for us.
Wow, I wish government operated like the dancehall. We'd be a lot better these days. Anyways, it's a whole different conversation.
True.
Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It's homegrown.
She know. I see them lying their way to eat up our flesh. But black hero. I said I never born for fight against friends or family. I come to shed some light on the system's fallacies. The way I man proceed, be an example and set the lead. So with the music bus we take the streets, words I left the beat. And I say, lo and behold, they try to stay in your soul. Them leave the people for last, they run guns at the goal. Enough underline issues, but a time for we be bold. Time for sink it, not them all, so we come for take control. Feet don't fail me now, oh, as I trot along, battle's just begun. I know it's far from one, but they got nowhere to run. Nowhere to run. Where I man go. When your army comes, hey, now to my people. And this your baba. Go get your suit, prepare your armor. No matter what field I just ask for, something for stand for. I raise everything I fall for, no falter. God, when we dash the water, all demon I feel run them off his scatter. Oh yeah, I said the system is a trick then. Come on quick, go march, we fix them. Oh, I said feet don't fail me now. Oh, as I trot along, yeah, battles just begun. Yeah, I know it's far from one, but they got nowhere to run, nowhere to run. I'm uncool, yeah. Oh, when your army comes, hey, I watch I know it make haste. No, tarrying, my feet. Oh, Jah, carry them, beat my defense against any offense, against anyone who will try your praise, my friends, I make haste. No, tarrying, my feet. Oh, Jah, carry them, beat my defense against every offense, against anyone. Whoa, oh, I said feet don't fail me now. Oh, as I trot along, yeah, I said the battle's just begun.
Yes, and we're back having a wonderful conversation here. That one is Black Hero with a tune called Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Big artist, love what the youths are going to write about now. The Roman poet Quintus Horatius Flaccus, I'm sure in Rome, I know how them say it, but that's what he said, known more to us as Horace, said that a picture is a poem without words. And then the late great photographer Gordon Parks said that the subject matter is so much more important than the photographer. Roy, what do you think about that? As far as once you've snapped a picture, do you know and do you feel right then and there that you've captured something special? Or is it when you look to the final edits and add the final details and so forth that you can tell?
Well, I always look at photography, and not just snapping pictures, basically, because before I actually capture a picture, the picture of what you want have to exist in your mind. The camera is just something to say, try and convey from your mind to the camera what you want to capture, right? So
Gotcha.
10 of us can be looking at the same scene, and each of us see different thing, capture different thing.
Right,
so,
right.
It's not just mechanically holding a device and say, bam, that's it. No, you see an image and you say, okay, I want to zoom in on that little part of it, or I want a bigger picture. I want to, turn it around the camera, horizontally or vertically. That's all part of in your mind working on what you see in order to tell the story to somebody else who wasn't there, who didn't see it.
Gotcha.
So basically, it's all you manipulate the device, and it doesn't have to be a expensive camera. It can be those, your cell phone, whatever it is. It's how you actually move from what you see in your mind after looking at something and capturing it for posterity.
Let me jump in before I even try and answer it. I want to just say, because again, Roy is an influence for me, and I can remember in my earliest days of shooting concerts and things like that, I would see Roy sometimes with two cameras, with two different lenses, and I would always kind of wonder to myself, I said, man, what is he doing? Why am I have two cameras and two lenses? And in my mind, I was always in the original focusing on how do I get a picture of the star? Who is the singer? Who is that front person?
Right.
And Roy taking picture include everybody, drummer, guitarist, keyboard. I mean, I said, yeah, what the brother here? Him not just said, see the big star right there, so and him wrong this I take picture of everybody out here wide. And I used to think it was crazy until I grew up and I learned and I matured in my art. That like him said, it's not just about you have a tool and you go and you press a button and you capture. You have to think and design and feel for what it is your story you want to tell. And there's a lot more to it than actually having a physical product that can capture an image. You actually have to be a thinker and you have to have a story you want to tell.
Before you start snapping away.
Definitely.
So me with a camera, I'm not going to execute the same thing because I'm just a guy with a camera. So
well, I always tell, because I came the camera club route, so it's a way of inspiring other people. Just like I was inspired by people who were in the camera club. We were able to rub shoulder with people who were out in the industry, Brian Cummings, all these great photographers were part of the CPOJ, which is the camera club at ICAM. So I when I see somebody in the field like, doing, I'm always helpful because I know what that help meant to me as a young photographer coming up, Right. And I'm self-taught. I read books, I watch, YouTube just like everybody else. But there's no limitation. There's no excuse either. You use what you have and you keep on working, to buy, whatever you need in the future. But it's not about the gears alone. Your own mind tells you what you want to shoot, how you want to shoot it, and what you want to do with it after you shoot it.
A lot more than the tools.
Yep.
So David, for you, and I think about it from the perspective of you're an artist, you're not just a photographer, which ultimately means it's not an on the clock, off the clock thing for you. 24/7, you're an artist. I know sometimes you're in my bed and I come up with things and I forget up and go deal with it. Is there something innate? Does your spider senses go off if you're minding your business doing something and your eye catches something, maybe in your peripheral or something, and you know that I gotta take a shot of that?
Absolutely. And you know what's funny? It all depends on where you are too, as in your photography or in your art, because I can say specifically that when I really got serious about my photography, what moved me then is very different than today, because now I actually shoot every single day. And when you do something every single day, the trigger for what excites you is different than when you shoot once in a while.
Right.
So I've been through so many different iterations of what is inspiring to me that to try and detail it for you is unfair, because the person who just started is excited by something completely different than somebody who's been doing it over time, and so you have a different sensibility of what is exciting. But it is without question that it is always on. There's no end to your creative juices coming up with something you want to detail or you want to show off. And I looking at a picture of you right here on the wall, G. Cole, and there was a time that if I had taken a picture and it had a shadow from a hat like that, that I would have been mortified because it's right. But then there's a time later where I see shadow and I say, I love that shadow. It's part of the story. So
it's an object itself.
Exactly. So everything is about your growth and your time. Do know that everybody's in a different place. I can never catch up with Roy. I can always just be David. Roy has done and been and seen his things. And for anybody listening who maybe just beginning in their art, whatever it may be, or if you're long down in the art, the truth is what inspires you is what you need to hold on to and love and be passionate about today, because truth is going to always evolve. It's always going to be different.
Wow. I guess in a sense too, that's what I know, that some people spend just enough time to get good, but not enough time to get great.
Yeah, man, for real, the great thing is an amazing thing. I don't know if I will ever get to great, but I love it so much I'm going to stay for the ride, It's like, it's like, yeah, I'm happy to be good, but I hope to be great, but Jano, I just love it so much, I'll be there all the way through.
But that in itself is greatness.
Yeah, well, I like to enjoy what I do, and when I left the Homegrown world of, corporate world, I say, you know what? Whatever I do from here on, I just want to enjoy it. If I can make a little money off of it, that's nice. And to what David is saying, in my mix of what I do each day, there's a mix of, yes, we pay the bills. Yeah, that's one sense. So, but there's also the fun stuff that I love to do. I might be just passing, I might be going for my walk. I like to carry my camera when I take my long walks. And I can just look around and I see might be something on the ground, I have a collection of things I call my long walks, and it's just inanimate objects. It might be somebody you see along the way.
Right.
It has nothing to do with image that you want to expose or whatever it is.
Right.
But it's just you adding fun to your life and just capturing moments. I tell people my job is not just to take pictures, but to capture moments, and to preserve memories for posterity,
Wow. It's funny enough saying that. I'm an artist, but my art is music. So if a song, if a hook, if a line comes to me, I'll stop and I'll take out my cell phone with a digital recorder and I will record it, because I don't want to forget it and later on kick myself. At first, I was thinking to myself, well, I presume you guys aren't always walking around the camera, but based on what you just say, apparently you do. So what do you do when the perfect shot arises there for you and you don't have your camera? Or like you said earlier, are you that guy that's always, you're on a date, you're here, so you're in a restaurant, you're in a church, you do everything, and something pop up and all of a sudden you've got a camera?
Well, I'll start off here. I always have at least 2 cameras with me, as you can see right here. Always have at least 2.
That's silly.
Jamaican one thing, you have 2 cell phone and 2 camera that right there. So outside of the actually having a camera, the truth is I can recreate any moment. I shouldn't say that completely because some things are access. Like, it's not every day you get to be in the recording studio with a specific artist, or not every day you're on tour with this artist. So you can't recreate everything.
Right.
But yet you still can, because it's about the feeling that it gave you. It's about the emotion that you saw. You can always do that again. It's about, well, will you have the access again? Do you have the resources to make that moment occur again?
Right.
I genuinely believe that sometimes, even if you have your camera in your hand, your professional, biggest lens, big camera with all the fans, sometimes you don't miss that moment, even though you saw it with your eyes. By the time you grab the clutch of camera, set the settings,
It's gone, yeah.
it's gone. And you still have to be able to be that person that even if you can't make the same thing happen, you can get that same spirit and capture something that tells that similar story. And I believe that it can be done.
Yeah, in my job in the area of photography that I call events photography, I employ all those things. Capture the branding, capture whatever it is, all these things. But you're right, David. Sometimes something happens right in front of you. It's happening on street. There, the camera there, and you're just in awe of what's happening that you almost forget that. You want to capture that too, So,
right.
And then somebody still look at you and say, "Did you get that a while ago?" And say, "Oh my gosh, no, I was looking at it. I was
you're
enjoying it,
the moment." Yeah, I have that problem sometimes when I shoot sports too. Because sometimes I'm employed to do sporting events. And, I might just get excited. I said, "What a goal!" And then I said, "Right, I should have got that, shouldn't I?" But yeah, sometimes things are so spectacular that you just have to enjoy it. As you.
Yeah, and that's I have found now looking back at some of my early events that I have taken. Because I am known for shooting 1,000, 2,000 shots at one event, and then the client might just want certain ones. So you pick out those. So when I mine my own archives, right, and David will tell you that. When he looks back at what he has captured to what he has exposed, it might be 2%, 5%, 10%, depending on what.
5%,
Yeah.
the most.
Wow.
The most. Yeah, what we have cataloged and what we have shared with the world. If I die ever, I hope nobody.
You have no plans.
I hope nobody tries to go through what because it's going to take them a full lifetime just to look, not even to select, just to view them.
And trust me, David, I have certain shots that I don't even want to be exposed during my lifetime because of certain stuff that that happened during those capture.
Right.
So basically, it's almost like an embarrassment to somebody say, "Why did you take a picture of that?" And say, "Yeah, but I have it. I'm not interested in doing that." And this is what makes probably David and I so loved in terms of why we do our photography. It's not for sensationalism, because if I get a shot of an artist in a compromising situation and so on, I'm not in any rush to say, print this, whatever it is.
Right.
Because that's not the aim of my photography.
And truly, I sometimes take offense if somebody says paparazzi meaning something negative. I take offense because I spend so much time and effort being ethical about what it is that I share.
Right.
So I totally get it right. Even just recently, I did a event, and part of the event became something nobody expected. And my pictures, I've never shown that part of it. And people said, but people were there and there was live video. And I said, yeah, but that's not David's imagery.
Right.
I will never show that.
True.
I've captured it. As a responsible person, it took place. I took care of the detailing it. Yeah. But it is not for the public. I have no interest in
it's not the tabloids.
Not for me.
And I can see where an upcoming photographer would say, "Oh, that's my scoop," and and I would give anything to expose those images, But I remember even when Buju was in trouble,
right,
and I got some because what I do a lot now is people will call me if do you have any image of XYZ, right? And when I found out, the price was pretty
right.
But when I found out the organization or the people that needed this image, I said no, I don't want to be associated with providing images for
the downfall.
For the downfall of an artist and so on. So it's not just seek moments to expose the picture for money and so on. Right. I'm not into that type of photography,
Yeah, not the Hollywood tabloid situation over here. I got you. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here having a blast, and I'm getting a lot of knowledge hoping to share with you. Not going away. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
You got what you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. You got what you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. Some of them have it in a pile, rather stack it till it's spoil. And for think about the child that can't even wear a smile, much less a nickel shirt. Feet a best friend with the dirt, sell him out before him born. Now him no even know him worth. Whoa, can't afford figure reading at your college, so him no even bother see the need for that the knowledge. What kind of nation builder tell me how we ma go manage when you tell him resume softer than porridge. You got what you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. You got what you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. Listen, you should be blessed to be chilling in the West. Cut unnecessary stress and put your mind to the test. And you, Mr. Man, trust the people with the land. No youth, no fear, get shunned when them stretching out your hand. Cause I no understand you want civil man and woman, yet you wouldn't even give a chance at education. Yeah, when you first meet your bloody money round the nation, just remember John no sleep and him around creation. You got yet you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. You got yet you ever want. Who no really have you tell me where them a go do no. You see, we grow up in a city where the reality presented isn't really there. You want to open up your mind and you will see it clear. How them prepare for your life before you reach here. But it only exists when you can't satisfy. Save the little money, no buy into no lie. The bag of bank come for time. Full you up at interest and they limit your supply. Well, you got yet you ever want.
Yes, we're back. And that is Lila Ike, one of my favorites out right about now with a song called Gatti Gatti. She have some wicked tunes that come out right about now. David, I know you're not just the hardest working man in show business, but pretty much the hardest working man, period.
No, man, that's a Chuck. Hey, listen. Me take second play. Hey, the brother Chuck. Hey, I hope Chuck listen to this, you know, cause every time you see me say Chuck, me don't know how you do it, you know. Him the everywhere more than me. Second hardest working man. And Roy, yourself too, because like I said, you're from telephone company, and then you go out and do your thing, photography-wise, and you have not stopped. But let's backtrack a little prior to that. And I'll start with you, Roy. When did you fall in love with photography? And I guess, when did you know that it was going to be a big part of your life?
From early, I remember those days of the Instamatic camera. You remember, David?
Yes, sir.
And so it's my daughter, my first daughter, Candy, was one of my inspiration to capture, certain things. So probably in her life, there's a image every day, having your daughter, and you want to, make sure there are moments that you capture. Yeah?
Right.
And along the way, I meet people, specifically with entertainment. It was people like Pat Chin,
VP.
She asked me to do my first album cover.
Right. Which artist was that?
It was Yellow Man.
Man.
It's a thing called Dopey Gun Man. And she said, Roy, take it in front of the store, So I want to advertise the stores. If you look at that cover with the famous Yellow Man in his bowl hat and his army fatigue, you'll see Randy's. And 17 is actually the number of the location, but it's also Studio 17, which was a studio they have upstairs, the record store. So she was
Genius.
the person who actually asked me to do my first. I was a friend of the family, and we'd take pictures with them, a young Angela, Chris and Randy. So she know of my photography as in film days, that is, right?
Right.
So when she asked me to do that, I said, wow, I've never thought of myself as, doing that type of thing. But John Laws had an album in 1982, 83, Yellow Man was like the top artist, in dancehall. And I was thrilled to be asked to shoot a cover. And since then, I've done stuff she introduced me to Jojo. He owned the Channel 1 studio.
Okay.
So I've done things for the Wailing Soul, the cover.
Wow.
Delroy Wilson. He actually picked me up one day, took me to Delroy Wilson house, and we shot the cover for Hit After Its album cover.
Wow.
And a lot of the artists that were not even here, Louis Lepke, I shot that early Frankie Paul. I remember going there to shoot something else, and I heard the sound in the dub, coming out of the control room.
Right.
And it sounded like Dennis Brown to me. I said, "Wow, who is that?" I would go in there to shoot Dennis Brown, and I went in there and I see this blind guy at a piano, playing the piano while recording.
Frankie Dancehall Paul.
I wait until he's finished, and I doubled 2 shots, against the wall. And
I've seen those pictures. It's black and white?
yeah, well they've shown it in black and white, but it's shot in color.
Oh, okay. I've seen that shot.
Yeah, so there are early pictures, and I like when the thing that inspire me, that I capture it, and that's how I get to see like a young Dennis Brown.
Wow.
I was just driving along the road one day, and I saw him, and I said, and Dennis was so friendly. Dennis came over and said, "Hey, I know you." Dennis don't know me from Adams,
Right.
But he was so friendly. He said, "Yeah, man, come and he invited me into his house."
Wow.
And I shoot about 5
D. Brown.
a roll of film, and Dennis said, "I'm going to the studio. Come back tomorrow." I went to work that day, and I do what I have to do. Shoops.
Gone again.
I do a couple of rolls. So
Wow.
moments like that for me in the early days, is what really inspire my work,
Nice. History right there. D. Brown, I'm my favorite artist all time, so trust me.
Yeah, well, Dennis Brown was, I would say, the most beloved artist of all time. When Bob Marley was asked, who is your artist, Bob Marley said, it's Dennis Brown.
Wow.
Most of the artists actually listen to the voice of Dennis Brown to learn to
pattern
sing,
their thing, yeah.
because he had such a perfect diction,
Yeah.
and people don't understand his writing ability. When you listen to some of the songs, Revolution, Should I, you have to be amazed of the lyricists,
And vocal arrangements.
and yeah, so
He did a lot of that.
He had quite a lot of things going for him, Dennis always loved,
Nice. And David, of course, what about you?
Tell me now. You said, what about me?
What inspires you?
Inspires me.
Well, not inspires. We gone on that road before. I'm a backtrack to that in a second. But I mean, when did you know that this photography thing is going to be my life?
Wow. All right. So let me give it to you a couple of ways. I didn't know it was going to be my life until very recently. My wife ran for political office, and I was hiring photographers, and I said, "Damn, it's expensive." I said, "You know what? It's not that I don't think it's not worth it because I was paying." But I said, "But I have a little bit of talent in this field. I'm going to actually work harder at making my own images of the standard that we could use on a campaign." So I'm going to rewind now all the way back to the beginning of the early 1980s.
Right.
Growing up, my dad had a Canon camera, and as a result of that, I had access to it. I would quietly borrow, without his knowledge, his camera and take it to school at the time. That time I was actually going to high school in Kingston, and I would take pictures of everyday life at school. I loved it. It was also very easy to get the girls' attention if you had a camera. So it didn't hurt that I was also getting some other attention.
Ulterior motives.
Oh, definitely. And listen, part of my falling in love with music and photography is related to ladies. I've always been in love with ladies, and I like the things that interest them more. And music was one of those things, and so was photography. So those were definitely inspiring for me to get into that particular art, or those two art forms. But I would say definitively I've been shooting from the 80s all the way through. But it was more recently, within the last, just over 10 years ago or so, that I really got truly deep into it, where I knew it would be the rest of my life. That is what really, truly told me, because I've done it all. I've done so many different types of work. And I've worked as a person who really goes in hard in many different directions. But it was about 10 years ago that I knew I could not turn away from it. And that's why things like the book Pieces of Jamaica and beyond have really just become my all-day, everyday part of my life thinking. Even with doing all the other things that I'm involved in.
Well, and here's the thing. That being said, here's the other side of it. In this day and age, when we live in a world of so much noise and so much ups and so much downs and a million different calls, how do you stay inspired? How do you stay driven as an artist?
It's not that hard. Some of the things that I would tell you to do as an artist, if you are wavering in any way, is to surround yourself with other people who love what you do. That's a huge part for me. I make friends of other photographers. Roy Sweetland is a perfect example. And then more to the point, to enhance what you do and to really stay connected to your love and your passion, teach other people, share your knowledge. So for example, I do seminars at Nova Southeastern University as a part of my giving back. I teach at Broward College. I teach photography. Part of my giving back. And I love it. I love my students because they are so eager and they energize me. They make me want to do things so I can show them. Like, it's one thing, I could show them pictures from 20 years ago or 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But if I can, for my students, to inspire them, say, hey, listen, I'm going to do something this weekend. I'm going to go shoot this concert. Any of you want to come along, that's great. Let me show you the ropes. Let me introduce you. Let me show you how to capture the image. I even just this last semester had a student challenge me. He said, I'm going to outshoot you at a concert. I'm challenging you. And I said, oh, that's great. And I loved it. We went as a literal challenge. Myself and one of my students went and we shot a show together. And we brought images back to class, shared it with the rest of the students. We mixed them in. Nobody said whose were whose. We put out, and they went through and they picked out their favorites, and I mean, amazing. Just who would think that you could get that type of inspiration by giving back to other people? So yeah, those are things that definitely energize me and keep me motivated to keep improving, to be better. And of course, because I love it so, I want to be able to do better. Yeah, so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
when you share, let's say knowledge, unlike money, is the only thing that increases the more you share it. So you don't really lose anything, you know.
Yes.
And I like the idea that you're actually helping other people to become who they are, you know. So I learned that from the Camera Club, and in my work with other media people. I don't see myself as threatening to them and so on. So
I'm going to stick up in where I say this. Because I was a sound system operator and I own sound system, my colleagues, people who work with me either on my sound or close colleagues on other sound, always said, David, you're such an idiot. The next sound I broke down and you can clash and beat them up, but you over there try rewire them sound for them. I was always a guy that helping everybody else to be great. I never have no jealousy or no desire to push down anybody else. I always want to uplift everybody. And I feel like, when I do that, it makes me greater. But some people was annoyed and you help the competition.
You know, the killing sound business. You know?
You're a juggling sound.
Well, like I like to tell people that what I do is a mission, not a competition. So
Right.
you should have one goal, and not just see your little part of it, because we see that as part of the sound system culture sometimes, where it's about killing the other DJ or killing the other sound, But in the old school, the roots reggae school, the energy is different. It's about love, about
Definitely. But I'm going to call out Ryan, because Ryan have a dub plate, right?
Oh, the Taurus, right? The dub
Yeah,
plate?
it's the man of the Taurus thing, and I draw a dub and we as other photographer. Come on, Roy, you're killing me, you're killing me.
I heard that one on the seat too. I was like, is Roy a selector or is Roy a photographer?
Roy, I'm more than just a photographer. But it's all fun though, we love it.
Picture tech, the thing select. Rice Sweetland are the toughest thing to Rastafari. So that to feel. You picture them hot. Photographer extraordinaire. You know what I mean? Watch out. Beware. Rice Sweetland a snap. With X amount of picture coming to your well hot. Beware. Paparazzi start when him there on here. Flashing lights, oh yeah. Well, it's a joy to see when Sweetland in at the place. He might take your picture, youth. So put a smile on your face, and all the hot girls just show.
That part of it is I have to be thankful for Taurus. And he suggested to me, say, Roy, I help you with the promotion. It's not really a dub plate. It's just like
promotional thing.
It wasn't like to say, you're the better photographer than anybody else. It's just a way of Taurus saying, I'm gonna help you to do your thing. So
I love it though.
in studio one day,
we'll
drop it.
We love it until I get my G called up to clash him back. But go and pretend say it's all good. No man, hey listen, we love yours, right? We love yours, right? Wink, wink, wink.
I'm gonna start out the clash thing. And I mean, with reference, I just talk about your students and those people that you will influence, because that's your legacy in there. Your legacy, we're not here forever, no matter how we look at it. If you even go to 99, you're not here forever. But the thing is, your legacy is not the work that's on the wall, but it's the work that you leave moving, your students and the people you've influenced, be it your kids or whomever. But as an artist in this field, and pretty much all the arts, you find that you're your own investor, artist, PR, and so much more. You get the glory, you're the quarterback, but also the losses, financially and otherwise.
The risks.
The risks and the rewards are all up on you. Now, for those people that are coming up right now, what advice would you give to these aspiring artists to keep them going, to know the ins and outs of this business as far as that part of it goes?
Well, it's a challenge, because sometimes the creative part of what you do is the easy part, to convert your creativity into artwork and so on. And there's always a gap between converting it to a financially rewarding, endeavor. So, and what works for David might not work for Roy. So each of us have to explore where we are, where we want to go, and what we want to do.
Right.
You always have to be out there searching, because if you see all Chronics, Just Royal, all these younger recording artists have actually packaged what they do, approach it. It's a different thing from the old school of waiting on somebody to, produce them, to promote them and so on. So they've actually broken the mold and said, no, we're going to be doing it differently. So you as an upcoming creative person also have to keep that in mind, that look here, you're not tied into the old school way of doing things, There is a way that is going to work for you, what is uniquely yours. And you can only find out that way by really believing in yourself first, developing your craft, because if there's no talent there, there's no make sense. You have somebody investing in you.
Right.
So even if you have an idea, say, yeah, I can sing, I can write, or whatever it is, find out what your talent is first, and then invest in yourself first, before you say, hey,
can you invest in me?
Can you invest in me? So that is so easy when an investor actually see a young talent and say, wow, Do you have a manager? It should be that way than you going to beg somebody and saying, yo, I can sing and I can do this, and they come manage me,
True.
Do that for yourself first, and that's the best thing you can ever do as an upcoming artist, painter, wherever you are in the art, in the field of art.
It's amazing you mentioned that, and we're talking about the different arts. I had somebody come to me before asking me that question about, a manager and the whole nine, help to find a manager, help manage them or whatever. And my thing is, my outlook has always been, and this is exactly what I told them, manage yourself until you get to the point where you just can't. You don't need a manager until the day comes when you can't do it. When things are going that well, or
it's sure that there's a growth, and it's outside of your hands now. But you have brought it to a point where you're proving to yourself that yes, it's worth the investment.
Yeah, you need it. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of jewels being dropped by Mr. David Muir and Mr. Roy Sweetland. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
Truths and right. Like always right over my look over here.
Judge bless I with the brightest light, and I shine upon the youth them blind. God with their of the truths and right. Their of the truths and right. And until the day that my soul takes flight, Babylon will hear my voice. God with their suffer truths and rights. Come and suffer truths and rights.
Yeah, hey, where to escape to, where to be free. No humanity in this reality. In a system and I lose them life. You know see the whole of we a live one lie. I know it's never fair to the people. When will it ever be? When inequality is the way we profiting. That's the way you keep the youths them poor. And the only reason is to take some more. Well, are we gonna wait around? Or are we gonna make a sound?
Time to find a common ground.
Yeah.
Against the things that bring us down. Cause Judge bless I with the brightest light, and I shine upon the youth them light. God with their suffer truths and right. They are suffer truths and right. And until the day that my soul takes flight, Babylon will hear my voice. God with their suffer truths and right. Come and suffer truths and rights, yeah.
Have you ever seen a smile on the face of a child and find a way
out of the place them reside that keep them mind?
Caught in a state of denial that tell them don't try, you will fail is a lie.
When all the youths need is a chance, not a blind.
Some care, some kindness, reach far, you're surprised.
Sometimes support change up the course of a life. More time and just one get a piece of the pie, can't sleep it off.
Then wake up next morning and simply repeat the day. So whosoever been exalted, I'ma need you to lead the way.
Cause Judge a bless I with the brightest light, and I shine upon the youth them light.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of my new favorites too. Brand new tune from Protege featuring Mortimer. It's called Truths and Rights. We need nowadays no more truths and more rights. Gentlemen, I feel like the visual arts, be it paintings or photo art, pretty much is going to be the next big explosion that's on the horizon. And why I feel this way is because some of the most creative minds in reggae right now, the Proteges, the Chronics, the Savannahs, Leila Ikes, Mortimers, and so forth, the ones you hear me playing here, seem to be such fans of the visual arts. They seem to be merging the arts in terms of spoken word, in terms of music, and in terms of photo and painting and stuff like that. The good thing about that pretty much is we see the younger audience, now we're stepping away from the artist. The audience that tunes into these artists seem to be involved and intrigued by that too. It's almost a subculture that's fusing reggae and the visual arts. Do you guys feel that way too or notice that too?
I will take it first here. When you say notice, Virgin visual arts been around forever and will be around forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about saying. It's almost like when people ask Chronics and those artists about the reggae revival. I said, it's not a revival.
That go a long time.
Same with the visual arts.
Yes.
We may somehow in the pop media and so on start to see more of a leaning left or right, but it doesn't change the fact that it's been around forever. It will always be around.
Right.
It's a part of what feeds people's soul. It is such an important part of the world. We cannot ignore the arts of any kind, visual or otherwise. So let me just set it straight in that way. However, I love the embracing. I know that there are a lot of these artists today which had stopped for a while that are now walking with their own team of people, not just publicists, but actual people who are creative souls, who are doing artistic work with the space that they're allowed. Because, hey, listen, a very important part of art is access. And if the artists are embracing the arts and saying, I'm bringing these people along for the ride so that they have that access, it is spectacular. But it would be there whether there was embracing it or not, because you cannot stop art. It's going to happen regardless.
True. Yeah. From your vantage point, right?
Yeah, well, the visual was always a part of it. And I like to encourage even the younger artists coming up that think carefully about how you're portrayed. You know, you don't just grab a picture, put it out on a single, but start creating from day one, you know, of who you are and who you want to be seen by the public. It's not a question as to why we don't see younger images of, say, a Bob Marley. Because prior to, him, breaking out as a big artist internationally, after the 75 thereabout.
Right.
Everybody was shooting him, but the more valuable images of Bob is earlier than that, Those are rarer stuff,
Yes.
And it would have been some obscure photographer would have captured those moments or so on. And the same thing when an artist now starting their little program, going to the studio and so on, that they think about the visual, how they're going to tell somebody what happened here, today,
Yes,
and not just 10, 20 years after and saying, wow, I should have had a camera, capturing certain things,
Yeah, true.
But they consciously think about it, saying, yes, I believe in myself and I want to create images from day one, even if I'm not using it on day one, but actually I capture it. So that's somebody who don't know about what I do is going to tell the visual story. I have the control over how I look and how I present myself to the public.
I got you. No, another thing that I look at, I'm a nostalgic person. When you speak to a veteran musician that has had success and pretty much are still enjoying success, they're always very, very embracing of the technologies that exist today, but they always speak about their love and affinity to that old, warm, analog sound. As visual artists, and I know digital photography allows you to do things as far as your imagination can go, but do you ever miss the days of the dark room and developing pictures? And is there anything lost now that pictures are being developed that way more than any?
I try not to get bogged down with the technology because that is what shifts over the years,
Right.
And even if I love the darkroom because while I was at Kingston College, I was part of the camera club there too. We created the images for the magazine, our annual magazine. That process of using the chemicals and the timing and the enlarger and so on makes you respect your work,
Right.
But even if you were to create an image today, we're using film, right?
Right.
You have a nice image and it's well taken. You still have to convert it back to a digital form to use it, to print it, whatever it is. So it's still better if you actually capture it day one in the digital form, so you don't have the cleanup that you have to do when you scan it. Because when you scan even a perfect picture, you're still going to have dust and all these things on it that you have to clean up.
Right.
To use it digitally, even to print it, So I try not to get into the whole thing of that. And the same way a guy will tell you that, in vinyl, those low frequency sound that you'll get. Yes, it's different from sampling. Sampling is just, as you say, samples of sound, but those low full spectrum sound that you'll hear from a vinyl,
Right.
You're not going to hear it from a CD, or
MP3.
Or MP3.
And I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because that is, in my mind, some of what I was thinking about. Listen, as a selector, somebody who was in the music business for a good couple of decades, and a man that played music, I kind of shied away from the switch to CDs and certainly never went along to MP3s. Now, if I go somewhere to play today, because of ease, weight, etc., I don't want it. There's no chance I'm going to lift up 2, create a record. A whole heap of weight. When you're traveling to China and you're taking, or Japan, and you take a whole heap of luggage there. So,
2 terabytes.
yeah, man, you just jam your little hard drive and your laptop and you're good. So I totally am with technology and how easy it has made things. Likewise, film, I remember, you have to go, listen, you talk about film. Yeah, we could find 100 and 200 ASA film easy, even 400. But if you need a 800 or a 1600 ASA, that's not easy to find and it's expensive. So today, I can shoot at 6400 ISO and I feel chill. There's no chance I was finding a 6400 ASA film. It didn't exist. Yeah. So there are things that makes it so much better. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't, like Roy, I don't get bogged down into the technicalities of what technology does. The truth is, I use the same spirit of the analog to capture my images. I'm still balancing my light in the same way. I'm considering all the factors, my aperture, my shutter speed, now it's an ISO instead of ASA. All those factors have a big part to play. What type of light is available? Is it mixed lighting? Is there street lighting? Is there my light? There's so many different parts to what creates a great image. I'm considering it all just like it was in analog. And this I'll say to close out that argument. There's a young photographer, and I say young. He's not a young man to everybody. He's a young man to me. Puro, who is Images, who toured with Chronix and has toured with Prodigy, and he's a brilliant photographer. And Puro went from digital to analog. He went and started shooting film because he wanted that feel.
Right.
And I respect that. But no chance I'm going backwards in that regard. And I shouldn't say backwards. No way I'm going to go sideways to go back to film. I'm good. I had my film days. That's
well, in our time, that's an expensive way to go, because I can imagine back in the film days, before you can see one of your image, you have to go to the event, use the camera, use metering, and you shoot that picture. You shoot a whole roll at a wedding, you don't know how those images gonna look. And then you take it to the lab, they develop it for you, and they print it. And you see it for the very first time, probably a couple of days afterward, right? Right. And then, so you can't even tell the people who you do shoot them wedding, say, wow, the pictures them look good or whatever. What's
Harmony for reshoot that. Read it one more time.
With digital now, you're actually seeing it right there and then. So the technology actually is something good to embrace, because it actually can help you to improve your work. But we still learn from the old days of learning about what aperture, shutter speed, ASA, is all about.
Wow. And it's obvious that the passion and everything for the arts come from deep within for both of you. But I think what makes you guys cut through on a personal level is that you do not have what I refer to as the faux purist approach. You have a lot of people with this fake purist approach. Music too. You have some people. Politics, no matter what it is, if your gray hair count not up to a certain amount, no, I'm not listening to you. You haven't earned it. You know what I mean?
And that's a roadblock to your own creativity.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing about it that it's not real, because they're the same one going home with it just for men and stay so. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but I can see why people connect to you guys' works. David, Pieces of Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
A fantastic body of work.
Thank you, sir.
And you've busted it. I'm gonna put it up, busted ass, because I remember when that come out. If me probably 3 only, a triplet, because everywhere me look, and it could be the same day, I felt like you were one of those cabin stewards on a ship, where no matter where me turn, he's there saying, "Can I help you, sir?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Always
absolutely.
there. So you were grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. What was and what is the most rewarding part of that grind for you?
Well, I hate to get into saying that I do stuff to get words from other people, but I will tell you, it's very rewarding, very, very, when you can get feedback from people that say, I like what you've done. But for me, genuinely speaking, I think that what's most rewarding, really, at the end of the day, is 2 things. I'm sharing the most rewarding between 2. and it's not the general public. The two things are setting your mind to do something and then achieving what you have set your mind to do. I don't know how to explain the reward of that, but I can explain the reward of the second part, which is that when you receive the acceptance of the peers, the people that you respect, not know the general public, that they're very important,
Right.
but when you actually get feedback from people who you value and treasure their opinions, that say to you, what you have done is meaningful and has value, and I appreciate that you've done it. That to me, along with my own self-gratification of accomplishment, is what was most gratifying. And people like Roy, who didn't shun my work and said, why, in already yet, or who were open and honest enough to say, listen, David, what you have done is good and we appreciate it. Those are the things that truly at the end of the day are the most meaningful to me.
Wow.
Well, to endorse what David said, I have been working on 2 books for 10 years now, right? And when I saw what David did with Pieces of Jamaica,
Right.
and the time that he did it and so on, I said, I have to give him total respect because I know the difficulty,
Yes.
struggling with what I am doing, right? And even to choose images and so on, because he should have a big headache trying to pick out what he's going to put in his book as Pieces of Jamaica. But he stuck with it. He was able to, fine tune it down and say, okay, this is the concept. This is what I'm going to do. I love how he combined the writings in it and so on. And it came up with a masterpiece,
Right.
It can move on to other stuff now, so, but that is there, it's done, it's a product that's
And it will
out
live
there.
forever.
It
And
will
I
live
give full
forever,
kudos to you because I know I'm struggling with what I'm doing too. And when I see somebody do something that you yourself want to do,
Right.
you just have to give them thanks and praise and say, yo, go and do it,
It's good to be inspired by your peers, and a lot of times I feel like the reward more so. Yes, the fans, the fans come out for some entertainment and the fans come out to see the arts and so forth. But when you get that, hey, good work from your peers, it means a lot. It means a lot. Now, Roy, for you, you've had your hundreds of pictures published in, you've been published in Billboard magazines and so forth. And over the course of your career, you've been dating and married to the dance hall culture and so forth. So you're in it and out of it. I want to say out of it. I mean, I don't mean the arts, but from what this venue, that artist, you're there. My question for you is pretty much, in your tenure, in your career doing what you've done, is there any one piece, is there any one project you've been a part of that you look back and say, yeah, I did that?
Wow, that's a tough. That's a pretty wide field, because each project that you do, there is something about it that that stands out, about
Right.
it. I remember taking a few images one time, myself and another fellow photographer for the camera club. There was an event coming up. I'm saying, wanted to capture a few images in a certain area.
Right.
And I passed a home, and we saw a little house, inside there. And we knocked on the gate and asked the person to let us in because I want to take a picture of the house. It looked old and rickety and so on.
Right.
As character, And I remember what that one image did for the person in the house. And that changed, just taking a picture of something and he didn't like what it looked like. And so what happened is that I went in and I saw the house and the guy said, look to me, come behind and I show you something. It was a house that was built from in the 50s.
Right.
And it was falling down, but you couldn't see it from the front. He took me around the back and showed me some stick that he had to prop it up, right?
That's holding it up.
And then he invited me inside, and the roof was actually coming down, so it's almost resting on the bed. So I took some pictures and I took it to church the next morning. My pastor, Father Burchell, he actually... He was a part of Food for the Poor, and when he saw the image, he said, "Roy, did you take any picture of the persons and so on? I said, no, you know. He said, go back and do it.
Right.
And within a week, they had his house replaced.
Wow.
And for me, that has been like my most rewarding thing of what an image.
Wow.
You take an image of something and somebody didn't like how it looked and decide to change it. And change the life of two people, because it was actually two houses beside each other.
Wow.
And for me, that trip to Bagua, just to shoot pictures and transform in two persons' life who didn't know me, I didn't know, you know.
Wow.
To me, that has been my probably most rewarding thing.
Wow. And it's the thing about people too, and spirits and personalities too, because here's the crazy part about that. The person could have said, nah, man.
Yeah, I look at it and saying, you know, pride could prevent this person from saying, no, you can't come and take a picture of my house. But he was so honest to saying, yes, man, come. And I took the picture, and I could have left also after we take that picture.
Yes.
But he said, hey, mister, can I show you something else?
Wow.
And he took me around the back. So I took pictures of the big pole holding up the house, you know.
Right.
And because this was a pre-51 house.
Right.
You would never believe that that was happening. And he had his mate, another old lady in the house. When I went in to take a picture, when they actually pulled down the house, it was on an ant hill. So the ant hill was actually bringing up the floor, right?
Wow.
and the roof was actually going down.
Wow, so it's an hourglass thing. Yeah. Wow.
So in short, that house would be like devoured, you know.
Right.
And I have to give thanks to Mr. Mahfood and Food for the Poor. When Father Birchall brought this to the board and said, yeah, we have to change this thing.
Yeah.
Within a week, they had a tour there and looked at the house and said, yes, we'll do it.
It worked out.
They mounted a tent and moved the people in temporarily and just transform it.
Listen, the moral of the story is this. If Roy Sweetland knocks on your gate and say, can I take a picture? You say yes.
But you know that that is another strange thing that I find, because we Jamaicans are sometimes have certain attitude to photography, you know,
right?
And for different reasons too, you know. Sometimes you see a picture and you want to take it, but the person might say, no, and so on. And they don't really understand the reason why you want to take it. They might say, because it's embarrassing, you want to embarrass them too. So it's difficult sometimes when you say, no, I just love the character of the picture. I just love the moment, and I want to capture it.
I have to jump in, right? Listen, I could give you so many stories while capturing images in Jamaica about the different reactions. So many people assume you want to abuse them or exploit them.
Yeah.
And that there's some gain that you are going to have by taking this image of them to embarrass them. And that is such a sad situation that people think that way, but it's obviously as a result of both their experiences and the way they've been trained to think.
Yeah.
Even more distressing to me, which actually led to one of my series of work. I actually have a collection that's called Portraitic Perspectives, which is really doing portraits in a poetic way of people. And I started that series coming out of an interaction that took place while doing Pieces of Jamaica. A young lady who was absolutely gorgeous to me could not see herself as beautiful and was so intent to say that she couldn't understand why I would want to photograph her because she does not see herself as attractive. And this was an absolute stunning beauty of a person, everything, soul, everything, and she just couldn't see it. And I decided then that I have to do a series of images of black women, showing them how beautiful they can be if they just allow someone to capture that beauty.
Wow.
But yeah, I've seen so many things, but that interaction that Roy speaks of, it's so great and yet so distressing when you realize people's belief of the intent of a photograph.
Crazy. I need you guys to take a picture of my financial portfolio. We'll see if we we'll see if something can be done. I care to father who? When?
My food.
Yeah, take it to Mr. Mahfood real fast and see what we can do, you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a blast. Not gonna wait. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Oh, gold and green. Rock and come in, yo. Rock and come in. Nice up the scene. Ice gold and green. Play this on your station. Give the youth some inspiration. Right, that's how we keep it real, hail the king and then it's seal. It's an Irish situation. Hatred is rejected and wisdom is respected. As you move towards your goal, preservation of your soul, it should never be neglected. Rock and come in. Rock and come in. Nice up the scene. Ice gold and green. Rock and come in.
Yeah, man, and that one is called Nice Up the Scene. It's from Mortimer on the Mile High Rhythm. Listen, bad tune. We're almost out of here. We're having a wonderful time talking with Mr. David Muir, Mr. David I. Muir, if you're looking him up, and Mr. Roy Sweetland. Gentlemen, let's go back to Let There Be Reggae. I guess we can put the names out there on the website. It's David I. Muir, it's Roy Sweetland, it's Maxine Walters, it's Corey Evans, and it's Gary Bourne from Irish and Chin. Like I said, disclaimer, David and Roy didn't give me the names, I got it from the website. All right? For the casual fan, for the art enthusiast, I feel like for the first timers who are just looking for something new to do, what they're going to get from this event is going to be exactly that, something new. Besides your pieces, I mean, just give me a brief rundown of what else will be going on over those 3 days.
Well, there is a whole LP called Vinyl Art Collection that VP Records will be mounting.
Nice.
So these are album covers, through the years. I brought up a few from my personal collection in Jamaica. I still have my whole vinyl art collection on 7-inch and 45s and so on. So that will be a part of the display. This is no fly-by-night art exhibition. We have actually been doing this from January to put all these things together. And it's a whole warehouse that we have commandeered for the 3 days, So it's not like a little room you go into, but it's a whole huge art space,
Wow.
So apart from that, we have all the artists that will be there doing their thing. Plus, on the I brought up two pieces also. One. It was the art from was a shot of Marty's Gibson Les Paul guitar that I had to shoot for when they was going to be lending the guitar from the museum in Jamaica to the reggae to the Grammy Museum, and they wanted to replace the one in there with a cutout version while it was on loan. So I was asked to do that photo shoot for it, and I have a copy of that will be also at the exhibition as a surprise.
Let me also lend this information to what is being discussed, because Roy and I did a show together, I think I'm going to say 2 years ago now. Yeah, actually it's about 2 years ago, where he showed some of his performance work, I showed some of my performance work. This is going to be so much more than that, and even to the point where all of the work that I am showing in this show is going to be all new to everyone who's going to see it. There's none of it, unless you follow me in magazines or other places where people have seen the imagery. There's nothing new. And the depth of what Roy is going to display also is not anything. If you know Roy's work, you have to come and see this completely, a total display of a whole nother section of his archive. So it in that way, I'm also going to say, we need to, you didn't mention, and I know I mentioned her before, I will repeat, Robin Clare is coming from Australia with some of her work to show it. So that's very far to travel to show your work. So I want people to come and meet this Jamaican artist who lives in Australia, who's going to share her work. And then more to that, we will have, and I'm going to complain a little bit before I get off the air here with you. We also have some music performances. We have, Freddie McGregor, who's going to be a guest on Thursday, along with Tony Matahan, or them say mentally ill Matahan. We have some other top name selectors who will be passing through. I won't mention all the names here. Also, that's Thursday for the opening.
Right.
If you come Thursday, that's great. But if you don't make it on Thursday and you come back on Friday, we also have some other musical artists, one of which I was hoping to hear on your station today, but I didn't hear any Christina this year. So I'm going to just tell you right now, if you come out on Friday, Christine will be one of the artists on Friday. There will be other artists. I'm not going to list everybody here right now, but another young man who is local to South Florida who really loves his movement and his meditation right now will be there as well. And genuinely, come out expecting to have a full experience, because Icons Sound will be playing also on Thursday and on Friday. So there will be music of both the past and current to entertain you as well. So you will get the visual and you will get also the performance, and you will also hear the music of the whole entire, and I'm going to stop saying reggae and dancehall. I'm going to say Jamaican music, the spectrum of Jamaican music. That's really what we are. This is a representation of Jamaican music.
Right. Love it. And again, times 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
That's good each day. You can come there 6 to 10 p.m. If you want to come at another time, you can certainly check in on the website and reach out to us. I am absolutely willing to meet people because we only have such a short space of time. So if someone needs to meet there at another time and you can reach out to us, that would be great. However, for a specific Thursday, Friday, 6 to 10, Saturday, earlier, because really and truly, because it's such a quick up and in and out show, we need to pull on the show Saturday night, Sunday morning. So if you can come earlier on Saturday, that's great. We'll be there during the day on Saturday. So look forward to seeing everybody. Come on out. If you love Jamaican music, this is something you need to be a part of.
360 Northwest 23rd Street, Miami, Florida, 33127. Again, 360 Northwest 23rd Street in Miami, 33127. General admission, $10. VIP, $50. What's included for VIP?
Well,
all inclusive?
I believe they say all kind of drinks and food, But listen, people, don't let price stop you, If you don't have $1 in your pocket, come and say art. You hear what I'm saying to you? Admission is a suggested $10. We would love everybody to come and pay $10 because there's much work to see. But if you don't have a dime in your pocket, come anyway. Come and see this show. This is not about money. Come and see the show.
Libation of its place, Nice. So we have to put back, as they say, pour some water in the well sometime. That's where you get it too.
And that's the artist approach, Hey, come on through. Hear me, Because I am on the other side of the fence. Come through and pay on the $10, come through and pay on the $50. Because guess what? Well, but foolishness out there, money I spent on. You're paying for an experience. Even if you take the $10 package, it's all gravy. And I forgot for the all-inclusive. Drink from a yard. But the thing is, there's so many nonsense. You know how much for a black and mile? More time I'm at the gas station trying to fill up, or I'm going there, see somebody coming and say, yo, let me get 2 backwards, 2 black and mile, whatever the case may be. And you smoke it, in about 5 minutes, it gone. So come out and support the movement, because no matter how you swing it, this stuff ain't free. It costs money. Gentlemen, congratulations in advance. Wishing you much, much, much success in the event. And of course, thank you so much for taking that time to chat with me and the Homegrown family. Before I get you out of here, let David give the people some info as to where they can find you and your work. Might as well, right?
My work, I don't share my work publicly like that. If you want to reach out to David Muir, you can go to davidimuir.com. And I'm David I. Muir on Instagram. I'm David I. Muir on Facebook. I'm David I. Muir all over the place. But just go to davidimuir.com. You can reach out, call me. I interact. I do not share my work publicly unless requested to do so by a client.
Love it, love it, love it. And Roy, Mr. Sweetland, where can we find your info?
As well, my info is I'm mainly on the social media Facebook site, but I'm working on the website with e-commerce properly done. If you go to my site, you'll get some information about me, contacts, and so on.
Roy Sweetland on Facebook, brethren. Roy
me.
Sweetland on Facebook.
And if you might hide the Facebook, get Roy Sweetland on Google and can't get to it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for passing through. Keep it moving. Keep it grooving. It is Homegrown.
Christina, let's see, I said, season it, pull it up, tell the DJ nice it up, give me liquor jerky, now the mix, nobody spoil it up. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Yeah, come with your dance, name it what you want. Pepper sauce, dumpling, chop the coconut. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot.
And that one is called Roll It from Christina Alicia. The album is called Songs from Zion. Big, big tune. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. Remember, be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinika sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on the Homegrown podcast is available on iTunes and all your digital retailers. Please support the artists.